Okay, hello everybody. This is Studio Photography Insights Hangout, and as usual, we'll be talking about a few of our photographies, Dave and mine, and hopefully I'll show you some stuff which is covered by that black cardboard over there. I don't want you to distract because you'll see if I open it, you'll be you'll see. Okay, so we'll have fun. Dave, let's start from your image. Let me show you the images which we're gonna talk about today.
I didn't take that one.
I got this cool program which should let me... Okay. Here we are. This is Dave's image, and mine is that snail. I'll show you a little bit later.
Yeah, Ron was here last week, and I gave a little bit of a rundown of what that image was. I think I talked more about the meaning of it than how I shot it last week.
Oh.
Didn't I, Ron?
Pretty much.
Yeah. The setup was really simple when you get down to it, as a lot of my lighting stuffs are. The lighting and everything was easy. Getting all those syringes to stick into that skull was a little bit more fun. Which is just get a drill out, get a skull, put a whole bunch of holes in it, and fill up a bunch of syringes and stick them in no particular order, but trying to space the colors out as best I could. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was all backlighting. I shot that one a few years ago. It was all backlighting.
Table, right?
Yeah, that's a Smith Victor shooting table, not the big Manfrotto. And the Smith Victor is about 2.5 feet wide, which was really constraining on a lot of shots that I did. I'm glad I got the bigger table, but all the lights were shot through the plexi too. There was nothing bounced off it. There was one light in the front, and if you've ever seen a shooting table, there's that curved part right in the front. If you shoot a light underneath it into that curve, it bounces back up against the subject and gives you a pretty nice reflection most of the time. You got to play with it a little bit, but it will come. And then I believe it was just a couple lights, maybe one behind the subject and underneath it, and then one directly in the back. All speed lights, by the way. That was shot entirely with, I think, 430 EX2s with a Canon IR trigger.
Was it before you got Einsteins? What's the reason you used? You didn't have Einsteins at the time, or?
Oh God, no! Einsteins are the first studio lights I've ever had. I've shot with speed lights my whole career, and quartz lights and flashlights and matches and whatever I could come up with. My fiance was always pissed that I was grabbing every light in the house and bringing it down into the studio. She'd go to turn a light on and there'd be none to be found. So, the idea behind that shot, as I was telling Ron last week, that was a shot about autism. Believe it or not, it was a statement a next-door neighbor of mine made to me when he was talking about his child, who was out and about just playing around a little bit, and you could tell I had never seen the child before. I had never met him, and the kid was just sort of sitting in the grass, sort of weaving back and forth, just sort of talking to the grass. And Ron, I mean, my neighbor could see, his name was, could see that there was something, he could see the look on my face like I wasn't totally understanding what was going on, and he told me that his child was severely autistic. I imagine the kid was about 8. And he looked at me and said, "There's always a storm going on in that kid's brain." Well, that immediately struck me, and I went back. I shot that picture that night. And there's actually only 2 prints of that one in the world. One hangs on my wall and one hangs on his wall, and that's about it. I've never sold another copy of that image since then. So
yeah, such a story.
Yeah, really brave little kid.
Dave, tell me what.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you want, because I want to ask you about that.
Sure.
The color, what do you use to color that liquid inside those syringes?
Oh, that's just food coloring.
Where did you get it? I mean,
the food coloring?
Yeah.
Just any grocery store.
Any? Okay. Because
Yeah.
I was kind of playing with the same, but instead of food, I got the cotton and the dye,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fabric dye, and they didn't really work well. I mean, they work, but not as clean and clear as yours. So I was
Yeah,
wondering.
food coloring is great, and then once you start learning how to mix the colors together and get them where you want, but the real pain in the butt is when you start shooting light into it, because it might look like it's nice, dark, and red when you've got it in whatever subject you're using it for, but then once you get too much light going behind it, well, it sort of turns pink. You get not enough light going behind it, it sort of is like this dark, murky mess. So when you've got that many colors together in one piece across, probably 1.5 feet from left to right. It was tough. As you can see, some of the colors on that to the right of it are a little bit washed out. Like the reds aren't vibrant red. It's sort of pink. The yellows have sort of blended out a little bit. But for the most part, I think I controlled it pretty well. And definitely my favorite piece I've ever shot. I love that picture. Not everybody in this world is into syringes, that's for sure. So it's probably not my most popular series that I've ever done. And I shot, I don't know, 14 or 15 pictures using syringes. And I shot them because I wanted to try to get people over their fear of them, to not see a syringe, to just see an object and how it relates to a subject. So sort of worked sometimes, sort of one lady commented on a picture that I put up somewhere. It wasn't, no, I think it was this shot. She said, I pulled this picture up and my kid was with me and I think her daughter was like 13. She said, my daughter went, I love it, but my daughter went screaming from the room. So you can't win them all sometimes, but
several of your images are using bent syringes. Did you take those to a glass blower and have them bent?
No, I actually got out the old propane torch. Since they're Pyrex, they still broke. I mean, they eventually shattered. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually went through about 10 to get those 3 that I had. And I was sad when they broke, but they didn't even break. They sort of just crumbled. So then I've got some wine glass shots that I actually bent the stem of the wine glass also, which was much more of a challenge because that is not Pyrex, and that stuff does not like heat too much. So
actually, it doesn't mind the heat. It doesn't like the cooling.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually thinking of getting a little annealing oven. But then when I started talking to people, because I always wanted to do, sort of like heating up 2 glasses and maybe molding them together a little bit. Getting one glass, the stem, to physically puncture another wine glass, but you can't do that with the glass that's out there on the market. First of all, it won't take the heat, and annealing won't even help because they just crack on the second the flame gets off them. So yeah, I was thinking of becoming a glass blower for a while just so I could create some stuff to shoot, but boy, you think photography is an expensive hobby. Good God almighty, that glass blowing, those guys are out of their minds.
I mean, expensive stuff?
Yeah, yeah. When you start getting into the real stuff, you get the real torches going, and then, like Ron mentioned, you get a good annealing oven, and then the glass itself isn't cheap. And considering how much I'd go through, it would probably, I don't know, break me. So I've gotten in touch with some glass blowers, but to get a one-off piece like that, they either want a fortune or just don't want to do it because it wasn't their idea. It's not something they're into. I've been looking for a diamond tip bandsaw. I found a couple out there, but I don't think they'll do what I want. I want to cut a wine glass right in half from top to bottom. So I'll have two separate halves. And I can only imagine what I'd be able to do with something like that. I've tried it a couple times with some good saws, but it's just that the stems of the glasses are just way too thin. So I've got all these ideas. The only limitation I have is not being able to get the props I want. I guess I really, really need to get to some rendering software and learn how to 3D model.
That takes about 2 seconds in rendering software.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a friend of mine who's a guru in this stuff, and the stuff this guy creates is just incredible, and stuff I could never do. It would just take, the physics just won't allow it. So,
I've got 3 diamond saws back there.
oh yeah?
Yeah, I do lapidary work also.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I have several diamond saws that I use all the time.
Well,
I've never
maybe
tried cutting a wine glass in half, but I can try one.
yeah, maybe offline after I'll get in touch with you and we can talk about it a little bit more, because I'd like to learn more about how to do that kind of stuff, because that's an art all unto itself. So,
Yeah.
and that's about all I've got, Alex. If there are any questions, anybody, of course, go ahead and ask them. But I'm sure that the picture that you're going to talk about is going to have a little bit more interest than mine this week, because God knows I want to hear about it. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, that picture I think it's easier to shoot, but not as easier to post-production than yours. So, what about skull? Where did you get it?
Oh, I've got a bunch of them. I buy everything off of eBay, man. I mean, eBay is where I get almost everything that I shoot. Really, I'll go around a little bit to like those roadside antique places, that kind of thing. But most of it's off eBay. I go cruising in, like, I'll go to like the movie prop section, and I'll see what they have. Now, I don't go out and buy a copy of R2-D2 or anything, but there's usually a lot of neat little knickknacks. I'll do searches for. In the glass section, I'll do searches for crazy glass or crazy wine glasses or, any particular prop I'm looking for. If you want it, eBay's got it. And the prices are usually pretty good, too.
Yeah, you have crazy props. I always see what
I've got closets full of this crap. I mean, it's just, and half of it I've never even used. I'll just buy it and put it away until a thought comes to mind.
Greg, in your head somewhere, right?
Yeah, Greg's asking, how hard was it to puncture the skull with the needles? Greg, wasn't hard at all. Just took a drill with a very thin bit and just drilled, and it was fun, actually. I had a good time doing it. But yeah, that skull actually isn't real. It's not a human skull. It's a resin reproduction, so it's basically, plastic. So it went through simple. I was just lucky enough that the drill bit was a little bit smaller than the needles themselves, so I sort of had to force them in, and that's why they just sort of stand up and don't fall directly into the skull. So that worked out well. That whole thing, from the time I left my neighbor, I think I had that image 4 hours later.
Did you have?
I did. Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
I was just asking. Did you find the colored rubber duckies, or did you color those in Photoshop?
Oh no, those are just the normal natural colors.
Okay.
The syringe colors took me a while to match, because there was some stuff out there called vivid food coloring or something like that. So it wasn't just your standard yellow, red, blue, green. It was like purple and fuchsia and lime green. So I think the green, the blue, and the yellow duck match really well to the syringe color, but the purple's a little bit off, and I probably could have shifted it, but I figure what the heck, I got close enough. I wish I could pull up the picture that Ron's looking at right now, but I'd have no idea how
you mean your picture?
Yeah.
Let me do this.
Yeah, it's in my pictures, in my photos, in the...
Oh, you mean the picture we're talking about right now?
No, the ones Ron's talking about. Oh, yeah, there it is. Ron's got it up on his, if you could see below, where Ron is with the little ducks with the syringes in their heads.
Right.
So that's the one he was talking about. It's like I said, I've got a whole series of syringes. There's a few in there I really, really like. There's a few in there that are sort of disturbing. Thank you, Ron.
Yep.
But they were all fun to shoot, for sure.
There's from an art store, you might look at something, there's an ink, it's called rapidograph ink, and it's a water-based ink.
Right.
You can buy a set of them that are transparencies, and there's 16 different colors.
Wow.
And you can mix almost anything you want from them.
Wow, pretty neat.
Where, Ron? Where is
Any
it?
art store. I mean, I could get mine. I bought mine from, I think it was Cheap Joe's or something like that. It was Rapidograph. I think it's R-A-P-I-D-O, Rapidograph Ink. And you can get either, you have to be careful because it comes in two varieties. It comes as transparent, or it also comes as opaque. And the opaque makes a cloudy mix. But if you get the transparent, it's just like food coloring. I have a whole series of, I have a very thin window in my basement that's about 6 feet long, because it used to be a garage door I had replaced when I had this made into a basement. And I had a real thin 1 foot high window, and I wanted to cover it with something. I didn't try to put a curtain up. So I had a bunch of these they're basically water bottles. And I made a whole spectrum of colors from one end to the other end with the rapidograph inks, filled them full of water, and they just set exactly in the window, give me a spectrum shift.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Thanks, Ron. I'll grab them.
You might check like Dick Blick online.
Yeah, that's another place I spend a lot of time at, probably way too much.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
I'll show you my colors. It's not good, not good at all. But in a minute you'll see. It's this fabric, the dye. It's crazy. But we got that snail from it.
Well, you know, if you're shooting on a black background, having some murkiness in your colors probably helps a ton.
Yeah. That case, it helped, but you know, it was a funny shot because we didn't plan to shoot that snail. It was actually preparation and kind of playing with different liquids for Godiva shot.
Oh, okay.
We are trained. I mean, I thought why not to play with different colors and options, even though it's not chocolate at all. And it's supposed to be, when we got dye, I thought it will be clear, but it wasn't clear at all. So let me show you the.
What was the chocolate in that shot, by the way, Alex?
It was latex paint. You know that.
I'm surprised there isn't like paint and everything all over the walls of your studio.
Well, it's kind of, if you would see it, it was a lot of paint around, but we have covered studio with kind of I forgot how
plastic and stuff. Yeah,
it's plastic. It's big rug. It's waterproof. I don't know what it made for, but it's huge. You can cover half of studio.
Excellent.
Here. Okay, so the image is this, right? Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, broadcasting. And basically the stuff was made from, let me show you what it was made from. From this. Whoa, what are you doing?
The infamous infinity mirror.
Yeah, it's like black hole is opening here. Okay, now I don't want to show me. Oh man, stop.
There you go.
Okay, so basically we got those different splashes, and you see it's not really transparent, especially green ones. That blue is just plain water, but we just changed in a raw converter color a little bit. Right. The rest is just this fabric dye. We tried different ones, but this was probably the most clear. And then in Photoshop, we use that, well, let me get back to my face again. In Photoshop, it was, how you call it? I forgot. Puppet warp, right? When you can, does anybody seen it, how it works, that puppet warp?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you. It's kind of fun. It's almost like it, not 3D, but you get all these different polygons, or how you call them, and you can change. I'm gonna load Photoshop and show you in a minute. So Zhenya just bent those splashes into whatever, snail. It might be not snail, it might be anything. Just fantasy of the toucher, right?
Hey, Alex, Matt just typed in here. Is there a reason we aren't broadcasting publicly?
The reason we're not, or we do?
It's not being. It's just not public right now. It's like I understand the public not being able to come in right now, but it's not being broadcast publicly.
Strange. I do broadcast. When I started, it's kind of broadcast. Should be. It says. Okay.
When your screen was down, I saw that there was a button to broadcast about public.
Yeah. No, I think okay. Broadcast video is live now. Oh man.
Cool.
Oh, that's what I was doing all the times, right?
Is that why we only have 5 people here?
No, it's basically it's for watching, right? You cannot join because I invite only certain,
Right.
not everybody, like. But to broadcast, well, good to know. Thank you, Matt. It's crazy.
You're welcome.
I always thinking that when I start hit broadcast, it will broadcast, but from the beginning. But now, okay. So what we got here and Photoshop. Let me open this some image. And I'll show you how we can bend it. Okay. Just a moment. Okay, now I'm ready. Actually, I can do it like this. Make things a little bit easier. Okay. Picture in picture. So this is, open it in Photoshop. If I go, you don't see it, but I go to Edit and Puppet Warp. You see it covers all in that little like polygons. How is it in English?
Polygons. Yeah, that'll work.
Right. So, and you can, as I never did it before. Jenny knows how to do it, but as I understand, you got those like bending points or how you call it, and then you can drag. You see what it does?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like the old warp tool, except there's a lot more points of access into it.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So basically, if you know how to do it, and I don't know how to bend it nicely and properly, but you can do it, right? And then you just hit whatever, enter, and boom, we get, instead of snail, that crazy something. Besides that, I flipped a little bit of whole image. So, but now, I guess I want to show you the process of shooting this. That's probably the most interesting, right? And let me... Any questions on that, what I just showed you? Hopefully not, right?
Well, like, on your green one, you had kind of like ears or eyes. Like, how did you... so was that just luck on how you got that, or...?
Let me see.
Yeah, on the green one, that's the head. How you got the 2 stems coming out that are...
No, it was real. That green one, it was basically on that image where you see parts, using parts, it's real splashes without any modification. So it was a lucky shot.
Wow.
Like this, yeah. And I was doing, I don't know, maybe like few hours of throwing and pushing, throwing with Kenya. It was hundreds and hundreds of splashes. Different shapes, you can never predict it, so it's basically, if you do it from hand. You know, when I see online all those nice images when you have those little nice drops, with really close macros, they look amazingly great. But I'm thinking, lucky guys who shoot them. You set up how fast, you know, it drops those water, you got this set up, you have trigger, and you can get perfect shot every time.
Yeah, like the guys who get all those crown pictures of, you know, one drop going into one splash, and they can produce, you know, 800 crown pictures a day. You're right, because they've got the controlled water system, and then they probably have some sort of a laser trigger that, you know, the drop breaks the laser and click, away it goes. I've got a few of those, but man, it came from shooting like 1,000 pictures and praying that one went right, because, you know, I was dropping water by hand with an eyedropper. It was just crazy. But there are some people out there who shoot some amazing stuff, but they have really controlled systems.
Yeah. I got the same. I have few of those crowns, but it was all hands and was kind of crazy experience. So we got this.
So who did you massacre?
We had a cat. It was a nice cat, but today he didn't behave well. So I'm sorry for him. That's why, I was preparing for the shot. I was throwing a little bit of water, and then I said, oh, why not to get this dye? And so after I did a few shots, I said, oh, I need to cover this. Okay, so the black paper on the background. More distance is better because you don't have spills and, the liquid spills, and you don't need to have any spills of the splash. It should be like really dark. Not splash, flash from the light. You don't need to have any spills. And because it's for post-production, it will be a nightmare. It will be, if it won't be black background, but a little bit grayish, let's say. I got 3 lights. One on the side, one on top. It's not visible, maybe visible. Softbox on top, and barrier reflector on other side, just Einstein. All 3 Einsteins in action mode. And the camera I was using was Canon for those shots. Today my Canon, it was today, I sent it to service. It's not working well, so, and I'll be using Hasselblad.
Why do you prefer your Canon over your Hassie, Alex?
No, I love my Hassie, and if I can use it, I use it. But Canon is much faster.
Oh,
right?
okay, right.
You can shoot because Einsteins in action mode, it's far from full power, right? It's about quarter of power because I need to have short flash duration, meaning it recharges less than a second. Really fast. And if camera can shoot same rate, I can throw and shoot. So it's really, really fast shooting. With Hassie,
it's like one a second, maybe one every 2 seconds.
Yeah, 1 a second. More, and if it's tethered, I need to wait till it loads. So basically, it's 2 or 3 seconds.
Oh, okay, okay.
Kind of. I don't measure, but it's long time. But with this camera, everything coming to image quality is better.
Yeah, the pixels in those things are just beautiful. They're just beautiful.
And what I remember first time when I started comparing Canon and this for kind of dark shots, I was surprised of the amount of noise Canon have on those shadows area. Where light is not enough. Right. Even on ISO 100. Yep. 5D is great camera. Noise handling is really good at 5D, Canon 5D Mark II, right? But comparing to this, it has no noise. Yeah. Even in this, so it's really good. Okay, everything in manual mode. 1 of 800 of a second exposure. F13 aperture. I can probably do like F16 or so, but it should be enough to get in the focus that flash. I got this. This is how I set my focus. This little stand, I extract it, I set manual focus to it, and then I lower it, and it still will be there, because I need to know where to throw splash, right? I need to know exactly the plane of the splash will go, because it should be in the focus, right? And this is it. Let me turn on this, guys. 1, 2, 3. That's it. The lighting I can, softboxes is not really needed. I may use 3 lights or even 1 light or maybe 2 lights with barrier reflectors, because on black background I just need some blinks of and some little reflection from that splash. Yeah, if it's clear like a water. But I like strip boxes to just make those reflections a little bit more visible. Because transparent water, if it won't have anything to reflect, it will be too transparent.
Right.
Okay. So
I just got my first strip box like a week ago.
Oh, really?
I never had them before, and I've been having well, that one shot I put up with all those glasses and the rubber duck and the ceramic cup. You know, that was the first thing I shot with them, and wow, they really do help a lot in shooting, you know, glass and trying to get some really nice reflections off them. It was really nice.
Hey Dave, which brand did you go with, by the way?
Oh, I'm an Einstein guy, so I just use Paul C. Buff. I just go there. His prices are absolutely reasonable. The Einsteins are amazing lights. I think the strip boxes, I don't know. I forget what they were, 120, 130 a piece, which is still, you know, sort of expensive. I'm sure you could get them cheaper out there, but they work great. They attach to the flashes, you know, just simple. But really, really, really like them. I've got a lot of testing to do with them, but it's going to be fun, I can tell.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Dave, that you shoot all the stuff without soft boxes. That's you're really good.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I was using speed lights, why bother with a softbox when you've got paper towels? You know, it was toilet paper, paper towels. Hell, I used to throw tube socks over 'em. You know, to try to diffuse the light a little bit. So, you know, when you don't know what's right or wrong, everything's right. So, and it always worked. So, what did I know? Then I started following you, and next thing you know, I'm buying studio lights and soft boxes and strip boxes. Now I'm looking at getting a Hasselblad. I mean, you've warped me, man. You really have.
But you know, you had how many? Like you said, more than 10.
Yeah, I actually have 14 speed lights.
14 speed lights
at the most.
It's a lot of money too. I mean, it's almost like Einsteins. They cost how many? $400 each or so.
Yeah, 500. The Einsteins are, but you know, I bought everything used. I'd never buy anything new.
Oh, I see.
And you know, you could buy. You know, at the time I was using like 430EXs before the 2s even came out. You know, you could find them on eBay used. People were like giving them away for you know, $1.25 a piece. So you know, getting 10 of them wasn't really any big deal.
You're right. You're right.
So, but since then I've sold a lot of them or given a lot of them away because the Einsteins are great for just about everything I do. I still break the speed lights out when I really need some quick flash duration, and when I also need to put the light somewhere tiny, you know, in a small space, which speed lights are just great for. You have 10 of those things, set them to like an 1/8 power. You could put 10 of them everywhere, and you get some pretty neat neat creations from them.
Okay, let me share my desktop, my camera. This is capture 1 from phase 1, and I'll try to shoot something.
Okay, everybody, I got $5. He gets it all over himself.
10.
We've all got faith in you, Alex.
See, I think he's shooting the Hassie because he just wants to use the Hassie.
Yeah.
Okay, that was test shot. And let's start from just clear water. I know. Do you see me there? No?
Oh, I see
Yeah, I
it.
see it.
A little bit. Okay. So you see the background is completely dark.
Right.
Without any stuff going on. And, well, yeah. So everything is just... Oh, that was not good, but at least we got something. The idea is, you know, to fit that splash inside the... And actually, I can tell you that originally I had camera on much further distance from the shooting area, so it was about that size for me to throw water. Now it's much closer. I have probably like less than 2 feet wide area and less than 2 feet height, so I need to fit somehow.
Yeah, being accurate is tough when you're working in that close. Well, that looked like it was going to be.
So, but I mean, you see, the idea is just simple. I'm not going to repeat everything to you, right? But
Wow, that's actually pretty nice.
yeah, it's just like you throw, you see what you get. For example, here, that big reflection from the smoke, which is kind of not really good here, but if you look, let's say here, it may be nice. You see, I mean, kind of.
Yeah, I've tried shooting
and
just plain water.
Yeah.
I've tried shooting just plain water on black backgrounds, and I'm not the biggest fan of the way they look. You get all those weird gray areas in them. But that actually looks neat.
So when he has to send his lights in for repair, do you think Paul Buff's going to come and see the kind of work he does?
Oh, Paul knows who he is. That's for sure. Alex, if you're talking, we're not hearing you. Nope. Can't hear you, buddy. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, I never thought about coloring the water instead of coloring the light. That's cool.
Oh, God, yeah. Alex, I don't know where you went, man. Can you hear me? Nod yes or no. Oh, okay, okay.
I go to settings, it's the gear on top, and make sure your microphone is selected. There you are.
Oh, you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
I didn't. Well, it looks like Bluetooth went out, so I'm going to switch to.
Now you're gone. I think your batteries are going dead, maybe.
Nope, can't hear you, buddy.
Oh,
there you are. There you are.
Okay. It should be different. I switched to different microphone, so
Yeah.
I will just. It may be more noise because microphone now is on web camera, but so you hear me, right?
Sounds okay. I like that. I like that image you got up there, Alex. Can you zoom in on some of those
nice.
areas? Wow.
Yeah. You see? It's a Daniel or something there. Somebody's looking.
Yeah, that's. I like that a lot.
So
I think it's cool.
See,
I think it's neat how you can see the air bubbles in there.
bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. All right. Yeah, it's bubbles.
That's cool.
So let me throw a few more, just for fun.
Sure. Make a mess, man.
And we'll talk about. Yeah, I think I need to. Okay.
So much fun making a mess.
Oh, and then clean it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest fun.
Yeah.
So, splash is very. It's like what kind of device you use to throw splashes makes big difference. We have so many different little, jars, cups, and from every it works little differently. So, anyway, I'm going to spend too much time, and it's too black now, too dark, I mean. But I guess you got the idea, right? Yeah, first one was great. I guess we can do something with it. I mean, later.
Yeah, that's
Maybe copy it.
there's some great tonality in that.
Yeah, and you see how it came up from the dark on the bottom and then brighter area.
Right.
Of that light. Yeah, I can show you that light. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I'm switching back. Let me. So guys, if you have any questions, let's discuss it now. Because I'm done with my demonstration. And okay. You don't see me, right?
Nope.
He's hiding. He's gonna grab that cat.
Yeah, he's got to hide it before his kids come down into the studio.
Okay, I'm switching camera now because I don't know what's going on.
Steve just wrote, can you do the same with only one light?
Yes, we can do maybe not the same, but I can try if you want. I can turn off 2 lights, and we can definitely try to. Do you want me? I mean, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
That's fine. So I'm going to turn. Let's leave only 1 light without strip box, just bare reflector.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Get a little bit more power going.
Yeah, right. It's not. Well, yeah, you're right. Power it will be helpful, but I want to mimic probably the cheapest possible setup. Let's say I have just speed light there, right?
Okay.
No softbox, nothing. So I'm going to select all. Then turn only 1. Now I'm wondering why my big camera is not coming up. Let me try one more time to switch back to Logitech.
There you are.
No. Oh, you know, it didn't like when I was moving. Okay. So now I'm going to share my desktop again. And do picture-in-picture. Okay. And this is our shot. And let me see. If I'm going to use 1 light. Do you hear me when I talk here?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not, I think it's not on Bluetooth now. So
Yeah, you'll just have to talk a little bit louder, that's all.
Okay, yeah, I'll try. Yeah. Okay. So, same idea. Yeah, I'm going to pump up to, let's say, 160 watt seconds. Okay? That's 1 light, which is here on that side. On the right. So, yep. It looks good, I guess.
Yeah, wow. Wow, look at all the little drops at the end of it.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Everything is perfectly frozen. The flash duration is about 1/1000 of a second. That commander on that given power level. And yeah, it looks.
Yeah, it's got some highlights in it to give it some depth. You know, that's really nice. Yeah, you don't need a
Yeah,
don't need a ton of
you remember I was talking about. Yeah, it's always like I said, strip box only is needed. You see that little highlight
right.
from the reflector. If it would be strip box, this highlight will be much bigger,
Yeah,
much longer
right.
on that curve. That's the only difference, like major difference. That's it. The rest will be highlighted probably like this.
Right.
And again, we can put white board or silver board as a reflector, and it will create nice highlight still with one light.
Right. How many megapixel is the phase one, Alex?
This one is 22. It's P25 plus. It was far from new, from being new.
Right.
Switch back.
It grabs some amazing detail.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, I surprised. The back is maybe from 2006.
Oh, okay.
Or so it might be 2004. I don't remember. And it cost me half of my Canon 1DS. So I sold my Canon for half of its original price. I bought it new for 8,000 and sold it for 4,500 or so. And then I got this back. And the rest is still expensive, but for the medium format camera, it's not a big deal, I guess.
I've actually been looking, like I told you the other day, at the Pentax, the 645D. And, you know, from what I've read, it rates right up there with Hassie and as far as quality and everything else goes. The one thing I like about it also is the lenses are infinitely cheaper and still pretty damn good. The one thing that keeps me from going out and getting an H3D or something like that is just Hasselblad lenses are insane what they charge for them. And while, yeah, it's a business expense and all that, I'd still like to justify why I'm spending $9,000 on a piece of glass. Right. When, you know, something like Pentax, you can get the exact same lens for $2,000.
Well, how do you know exact or not? I mean, you kind of give me a really good idea. We need to get a Pentax with good lens, and say some good macro lens, and Hassie.
Yeah.
And compare it.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there is no difference, or maybe there will be some difference. Who knows?
Yeah, I went online and did, you know, Hasselblad versus Pentax 645D, and there are a whole bunch of comparison reviews out there, and they pretty much rate them pretty much evenly all across the board. The one thing that they say is great about the Pentax is that the user friendliness of it. Like if you're used to like a Canon or a Nikon 35mm and the way the controls are set up on the camera, they say that the 645 is set up brilliantly. So, you know, it's pretty intuitive when you want to pull a picture up, when you want to look at it, when you want to adjust something in the camera. If you're used to working with a Canon, you should be able to find it pretty easy, as opposed, I've never even had my hands on a Hassie, so... but they say sometimes it can be a little bit clunky, a little bit hard to get through, that kind of thing, until you get to know it, of course. But I'd love to get my hands on a 645D and do a comparison and a review of it. I haven't found very many inroads into doing that yet, though.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We need to get together.
I definitely need to get down. Boy, what a mess we'll create in that studio of yours.
I'm ready.
Hey, I have a question.
Sure.
So why is the image flipped when it shows up on screen?
My image?
Yeah, because like on our screen it showed the light was coming from the right side, which is coming from the left.
You know, I flipped it. I flipped it because all the recording I've seen, it was flipped. I mean, the previous Hangouts, it was flipped. So now I flipped it myself before. And it's supposed to be how it's in real.
Yeah, it's not. At least on my screen.
So why you think so? You coming from here, right? You look. And I was sitting on the right.
So on the left.
On the left.
Is it on your left? Okay.
That's left, yeah.
Well, you know, the real giveaway is the Palsy Buff written on the side of the...
Oh, I didn't realize that.
The strip box is backwards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see now.
So it's a video that's flipped. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I flipped camera when I went to advanced.
And next week we'll be doing it upside down.
Yeah.
So Alex will look like he's hanging from the ceiling.
And all the other ones you always always sat on the left side of the cameras. This week was the first time I ever saw you sit on the right side of the camera.
He was just checking to see if you guys were paying attention, that's all.
Yeah. Well, good to know. I learned a lot of stuff today, how to do hangouts and flipping and yeah, especially the public.
Well, listen, Alex, we're coming up on the hour mark here. So if are there any questions?
I have a comment from a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
You were talking about the fact Alex is getting you to spend money by buying things. Well, I went back on the internet after I saw a couple of weeks ago, and this is now a enlarger lens on a PVC tube for a flashlight to go behind to control the light diameter. And I've got 3 more enlarger lenses on order.
Oh, so it's got like a diaphragm in it that you can open and close.
It's got an iris. Yeah, you can set the iris on it up.
That's what I meant.
And I took some what do you call it, silicone, and silicone the lens, the end of it. I can get it off with a razor blade if I want to back off again.
Right.
You can't imagine why I'd want to. It's a pretty cheap lens, but it's got a good iris in it. And then I measured the back of it, so I have several different flashlights, and they'll all go right in the inside of it. And you can hold it whatever distance you want to get a good focal point. Then you can control the diameter for doing light painting.
You know, Ron, I think one hangout we should do is you just take that webcam of yours and walk around that treasure trove you've got going on down there, so we can see all the crap you got going on in the background, man. Because it looks like you got
how much crap. You see, right here is my Olympus microscope that's got camera hookups to it.
Excellent. But yeah, you know, but you know, it isn't Alex. Of course, it's that's made me spend the money. When I found out that there was some studio lights out there where I could get some short flash duration that weren't 40 grand, that's the trip that I needed. Because you know, you work with 10, 12, 14 speed lights. That's a lot of batteries, man. And you're always recharging batteries, and you never know which batteries are recharged and which ones aren't, and then a battery goes bad, and so I've wanted to work with studio lights for a while, but I just found them too limiting for the kind of stuff I do, at least. So, but Paul C. Buff came out and produced a good product, and by the way, I am not in allegiance with him whatsoever. I don't get anything for him for free. He doesn't know me from Adam, probably. But he produces a good product. He really does.
Yep, I can tell exactly the same. Great product. I don't have anything. Even I did the image of that Einstein's for him, and I sent it as a present. So
oh yeah.
He said, you know, yeah. He said like, oh, you know, I'm gonna buy it from you. I said, you know, it was present. Use it. So it was fun. Right. But yeah, he doesn't have any affiliate. If he would have, I would probably can make some good money, because a lot of people buying Steins just because kind of read the blog and saying, oh, you know, Alex, I went and bought it. Yeah, well, you think, to be honest with you, you think he would do something. I mean, I can't tell you how many magazine articles I've mentioned Canon's name, and I get nothing from them. I don't get any respect from them. So I basically, when I do an article, they ask me what kind of camera do I shoot with. I say a 35 millimeter. I don't give Canon any cred. Mm-hmm. You know. If they want me to spread their name around, fine. You know, shoot me a lens or something. Give me a price break. You need to ask them. I have asked them. They give me, you're not big enough, or you know, you're not Peter Lick is what I got once.
Who's Peter Lick?
Peter Lick is oh, you know who Peter Lick is. I hate Peter Lick. I can't stand that guy. He finds photographers that shoot nature scenes, and then he goes and puts his tripod exactly where that person did, but because he's got all this money and backing behind him, he gets respect where these other guys aren't even known. He's a piece of crap. He is the Thomas Kincaid of photography. If you're familiar with painting, Kincaid was the guy who did all that painting with light crap a bunch of years ago, and he had galleries everywhere that was backed by some big corporation, and it was like just mass-produced dreck. And you know, everybody in the oil painting world or just the painting world laughed at the guy. And you know, yeah, I don't begrudge Lick his success because you know, honestly, he takes a good picture. But there's just nothing original about him. You know, you got people like Galen, Fitzharris, Wolf, Lepp, the guys who started all this real serious nature photography stuff. You know, those are the true giants. They went out and figured out how to do stuff that really wasn't done before or wasn't shot before. Now there's a bunch of posers that come in and try to fill their shoes. So, and as you could probably tell, I've got some pretty strong opinions about photographers.
Me too. I use Nikon.
Yeah, well, you know, I love Nikon glass. And I also like Nikons because Alex was talking about noise in a Canon before.
Very low.
Nikon's got Canon beat when it comes to noise. Nikon does a great job at managing noise in their cameras. And now what did I read on your page, Alex? They've got that 800 out now that's 36 megapixels or something like that?
And no the anti-aliasing filter. It's
which
an
is
amazing camera.
Well, you know, the old Canon 1D didn't have one either.
Really?
You know, with the Canon 1D when it first came out, it didn't have an anti-aliasing filter, and the CCD. Those pictures came out of the camera so sharp, you didn't need to sharpen them. But of course, it had a moire problem. You know, if you started shooting fabric with one of those things, you were going to have moiraying. So. But my favorite camera I've ever shot with was my original 1D. I love that camera. The colors that came out of it were great. You actually, you know, I buy these expensive lenses with this great glass, and then they got to go put that damn filter in front of the sensor that softens the image up. Why the heck do I want to do that? Give it to me sharp out of the camera. But
part of the reason is because of the bare pattern on the filter.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it produces a moire. It's like the old screens that we used in printing. You know,
Sigma is the only one with the Flavion right now, but their resolution's 1/3 of anybody else's.
Yeah.
Because they have the new filter that it takes. Well, it's equivalent to having 3 different CCDs in your system, but it's just one CCD at depth. It did color by depth.
Hey, we've got a few questions going on here. Alex, what would be the maximum flash duration on any given light to achieve this?
Maximum? You mean minimum? I see.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to tell because I never measured how fast that particular splash is going, but from my experience, the minimum is 1/2000 of a second. If I go lower, I mean slower than this, it starts getting worse. And you know, it's even at 1/2000. Usually, when you throw a splash, the core of it moves not as fast as that little kind of sparks and drops around.
Right.
And core is fine, but drops start creating motion trail. And that's what I've seen actually on many shots online. Looks like people were using speed lights or any kind of other little battery-powered lights. And on those lights, you get more power, but less flash duration. And I've seen a lot of nice splashes, but when I open like full size, I see, oh, trails, motion trails and little. But it's fine, you can clean it in Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
So I was telling people that don't post or whatever you produce immediately. Take time, take day, 2, whatever, clean it.
Yeah.
And it will look much more professional just because you clean it.
Yeah. Other question, I guess this will be the last one for the night. Have either of you done anything with film before using digital? I've done stuff with film after I started shooting digital. I wanted to sort of prove to myself that I can actually get a picture without having to take 1,000 of them. So I went out and bought a Pentax 645N medium format, couple of lenses. In fact, a lot of my outdoor stuff was done with it. You know, a couple of rolls, either I'll have 20 or 40 to actually figure out what I want to shoot, how to shoot it, get the right light, and get the picture, instead of just standing there with the with the trigger in my hand clicking away like an idiot for 4 hours. But sometimes I get stuff good, sometimes I don't. But it teaches me more about light and how to control my camera using film than digital does.
Yeah.
So you didn't have... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I have the same camera, by the way, but like I haven't really found a film that really gives me a nice look. What film do you shoot?
Provia or Velvia.
Cool.
I sort of like the Provia better. Velvia is really neat if you got the right light. If you don't have the right light, the colors can get really ugly. But Provia has always done good when I've done my job well. You know, shoot between 6 and 8 in the morning or 6 and 8 at night. Never shoot midday. Wait for the light to be right, and you know, use correct technique. Tripod, shutter release, mirror lock if you want. You know, just technique is what it's all about. It really is.
Cool.
So Dave, you didn't have film camera before when you even like was a kid, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I actually had a Canon A1 when I was like 20.
Okay, so you had. That's what I was.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
But all I ever did with it was take pictures of friends. I mean, there was never anything serious. I took photography serious 9 years ago. That's really when I got going. But yeah, I had that A1 when I was young, and then I think I sold it when I was about 23 or 24, and then I bought my first real digital camera when I was 40. So there was a good 17, 18-year break in there that I never even had a camera, with, you know, the exception of maybe an Instamatic or something like that.
Right. Yeah, same for me. I sold it maybe like 7 or so a year ago, and Velvia was my favorite film.
Yeah, well, you know, the nature shooters all love Velvia. I mean, the colors you get out of that stuff was just beautiful. It really was. But you know, Provia produced some really nice stuff also. It really did, and I always thought it handled light a little bit better, and still do. But well, listen, guys, I've got to call it a night here.
We're done. It's
cool.
5 minutes.
All right. See you later.
Listen, everybody, thanks for stopping by again, and we will see you next week.
Next Wednesday. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks.
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Good night.